We are Valleywide News, breaking news and events across the valley. Live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Please like, share, and subscribe. All right, everybody, those of you just joining us on Facebook, YouTube, and X, we are live also on Citizen, and we just want to give you a small update of what's going on here. We are on the scene of a large police presence. All we know is it came out earlier, and what we can say is that there is one SUV way beyond where all these police cars are here in Chandler, Arizona, with one person deceased, heavy windshield damage to the front of an SUV. And as you can see, there's a large police presence. We got the Chandler and Mesa police here. So from what I'm going, and this is a speculation, I can tell you, this is definitely a speculation, but usually is the case. We see Mesa police on the scene, and we also see Chandler. Some people in chat on our Citizen were mentioning a possible police-involved shooting. From what I've seen in the past, and again, this is just speculation a little bit, but more than likely this was some type of officer-involved shooting. This is usually the reason for a large police presence, and then secondly, the fact that Mesa Police Department is here on the scene. That tells me that more than likely there was an officer-involved shooting, which means there's another police agency that'll come in and do the investigation and take over the scene. Again, we have Mesa Police here on the scene and Chandler Police. One person deceased in an SUV with heavy, extensive front windshield damage. And what we are speculating, and hopefully we'll get the exact answers of what happened, but some type of police-involved shooting because of the fact that we have both Mesa and Chandler here. Usually another agency will take over the investigation in situations where there's police-involved shooting. And again, we're going to work to get all those details for everybody and get you the exact update of what led up to this. All right, everybody. So once again, let me just move out of the way of the trees, the branches rather. We are live, Valleywide News, breaking news and events here and across the valley, live on Facebook, YouTube, X, as well as Citizen. We appreciate each and every one of you joining us. We're on the scene of what appears to be a police-involved shooting, and we're working to get all those details. The reason we're suspecting that is because we see both Mesa and Chandler here on the scene with their police units, and we have still a very large police presence. We can confirm that there is definitely one deceased on the scene and a heavy front windshield damage to an SUV just beyond our view. Again, we have both Chandler and Mesa. Usually, if there's an officer-involved shooting, another police agency will take over the investigation of an officer-involved shooting. Hence, we're in Chandler, and a city like Mesa Police will then take over the investigation. So, again, we're going to work to get the exact details of what happened here. And so we do appreciate you joining us. We're on Facebook, YouTube, X, as well as Citizen. Thank you, everyone. If there's anybody in the chat that lives in this neighborhood, again, we're off of East Galveston Street and McQueen Road here in Chandler. And we'd love to hear if anybody's in the neighborhood or heard anything as to what might have happened. And while we're broadcasting, we're going to stick around here for a little bit. While we're broadcasting, we're going to also reach out to the PIO from the Chandler Police Department to see if we can find out. And again, I see a lot of investigators coming on scene. So it likely is, and there's some unmarked vehicles. And again, one SUV, heavy damage to the front windshield. We're not sure what or who impacted that windshield, but we can say there is one deceased here on the scene. So what we're seeing here, it's basically off of East Laredo Street is the location of what is possibly here an officer-involved shooting. Again, because of the fact that we have Mesa Police Department appearing to be here a part of the investigation. And we have one SUV. We can confirm this. There's one SUV with heavy front windshield damage and one person deceased here on the scene. We have both Chandler and Mesa Police, still a heavy police presence, and a number of detectives are here on the scene as well doing an investigation. You can see that they have the road closed off on North Kingston Street, and I believe that, let me double check that. Yeah, North Kingston Street closed off with police tape, and an investigation taking place at this time. Again, it's off of East Laredo Street here in Chandler, Arizona. And we're going to work right now to see if we can get some more details as to what may have happened, but came out with a large, heavy police presence, followed by one person deceased on the scene. Again, at the moment, we're going to try All right, and again, as we speak, we're going to try and see if we can get some updated information rather than speculation as to what might have happened here. All right, so we see a lot of people from Chandler reaching out on Citizen. Here's what we can tell you, and we're also live, by the way, on Facebook, YouTube, and X with a lot closer of a shot. What we can say is right off of Laredo Street, there is, in fact, a large police presence still here. It came out as that originally, followed by an SUV with heavy windshield damage, and one person is deceased, unfortunately, here on the scene. Again, we're off of Galveston Street and McQueen Road here in Chandler, Arizona. We can tell you that the police presence is still pretty heavy here. A lot of detectives as well I'm seeing on the scene, Chandler Police and Mesa. Again, we're working to see if we can reach out and get some better details as to what's going on here in this neighborhood, again, off of Laredo Street. One SUV, heavy windshield damage, one person deceased is all we know at the current time. So I'm going to take a little pause speaking for just a few moments. We appreciate each and every one of you joining us. Do me a favor, if you're on Facebook, YouTube, or X, please like, share, and subscribe. We truly appreciate it. We're independent media. It's the best way to support us. And again, we're going to try and find out what's going on here. And again, I can tell you right now that there is still a heavy police presence and a number of detectives on the scene. We have one person speaking to police officers. Not sure if you could see him. I'm trying to zoom in. Right there. Who lives on the street, just arrived on the scene not too long ago. Not sure what, if any, their involvement or any family members or anything like that are with this scene. Still typing an email, by the way, everyone. All right, so we put an email out to the PIO for the Chandler Police Department. Again, just an update, and I know it's repetitive, but we are trying to find out the details. Again, we're off of Galveston Street and McQueen here in Chandler, Arizona. What came out as a large and heavy police presence, followed by an SUV with heavy front windshield damage, and one person deceased here on the scene. That happening off of Laredo Street. We can tell you that we still see a heavy police presence from the Chandler Police Department, several unmarked detectives here on the scene, as well as the Mesa Police Department. And we do have an email that was just sent out to the Public Information Officer for the Chandler Police Department to see if we can get any kind of brief update as to what unfolded here today that led up to one person being deceased. So we appreciate your patience, and we appreciate, again, you joining us. Valley-wide news, independent media, breaking news and events here and across the valley in Arizona.
Hey, Murr, Riley's pulling around, and he's going to bring his car up here. All right? Get anything for that? Any water or anything?
So again, we're hoping we can get a brief update. All right. I'm going to try and check some chat, see what everybody's talking about right now as we wait and hopefully get some type of response from the Chandler Police Information Officer, Public Information Officer rather, to see what's going on or what exactly led up to this one person being deceased here on the scene in Chandler, Arizona. Again, this happening off of Laredo Street, still a heavy police presence, and the main cross streets are McQueen and Galveston here in Chandler, Arizona. And again, we appreciate each and every one of you joining us. Please share this out. I'm actually going to mute the mic and see if I can talk to one of the neighbors here who will remain anonymous. I want to see if they heard anything or have any idea of what may have happened here this afternoon on a Saturday here in Chandler. Stand by, everybody. All right, everyone. So again, an anonymous neighbor, I want to put that out there, did say he was working outside, and he heard, and this is confirmed information, that he was working outside and heard some type of altercation, followed by about 3 or 4 gunshots, followed by a woman screaming, and that is confirmed by the woman that's in this Chandler fire van that you're seeing in your screen. We did pull up and see a woman that is in there. He said he heard a woman screaming, and then shortly after that, when he peeked around to look what was going on, a number of police vehicles all over the place. Again, I don't want to say that we're confirming this at all, but usually in situations like this, when you see a lot of detectives on the scene, and again, this is not confirmed, and hopefully the Chandler PIO will be on scene to give us full details. But there is one SUV with heavy damage to the front windshield. 2 police agencies on the scene. This happened in Chandler, and we do have Mesa Command Unit as well here. And again, we've seen in the past, in situations, we've been on a lot of live scenes with officer-involved shootings. So again, this is just speculation. We cannot confirm it at the moment. But usually, if there's an officer-involved shooting, say like we are here in Chandler, Arizona, and Mesa Police would then take over the investigation, or the closest police agency to the scene. So again, we have Chandler Police Command Unit, a number of detectives, as well as police officers from Chandler, and the Mesa Command Unit on the scene as well. Again, this happened off of East Laredo Street. A neighbor confirming that there were a number of gunshots, followed by a woman screaming, who you could see an officer talking to her in the van right there. And we saw her when we were pulling up. And we can confirm, however, that there is 1 person deceased here on the scene, heavy front windshield damage to an SUV. We're not sure who impacted that front windshield and what led up to this. We're working as quickly as we can to find those details out. We again appreciate everybody joining us on Citizen, Facebook, YouTube, and X. We're Valley-wide news, breaking news and events here and across the valley, currently in Chandler. Those of you on Citizen, if you can leave a comment, if you know anything or heard anything, we're not using that as gospel, but while we work to find out the exact details as to what happened in this shooting. Again, a neighbor confirming that they heard a number of gunshots, followed by a woman screaming, and then the heavier police presence and investigation taking place at this time. And again, as we could see, there's at least 4 or 5, from what we can see, detectives on the scene. Let me see if we can check some of our chat to see if we can find out, if anything, what anybody might have heard or knows. Okay, so somebody's saying, and I didn't hear that, and thankfully somebody else has some great ears, to see if that guy that was standing there before wanted to go home. He parked across the street, so he must live off of Laredo Street, somewhere in the area. Again, we appreciate each and every one of you joining us. Let me see what people are typing. We are live on Citizen, Facebook, YouTube, and X. All our social media at Valley-wide News. And some type of shooting did take place here. And again, I want to clearly state, until we get all the exact details and facts, we're only assuming here that it might have been, I want to state that one more time, might have been an officer-involved shooting. And a lot of the reason we say that is the woman that was heard screaming earlier. don't know if you all could see it, but we don't want to actually zoom in because it's obviously some type of traumatic thing that happened with her and or somebody that she knows. So again, what we can say is we have both Chandler and Mesa command units here on the scene. We are in the city of Chandler, and usually in some type of officer-involved shooting, we can say that another police agency will come in and take over the investigation, hence the Mesa Police Department and command unit here. On the scene, we can confirm that there is one deceased, one SUV with heavy, extensive front windshield damage. We're not sure who or what impacted that front windshield, but it was from the outside going inward because of the way we saw the image of the front windshield. Again, the neighbor confirmed and told us he was working outside, and as he was working outside, he heard several gunshots, peeked around the corner, and heard a woman screaming, which was the one that just got out of that fire van. And of course, there was a large police presence. So again, we have a number of detectives, unmarked units, and police here on the scene off of Galveston Street and McQueen Road here in Chandler, Arizona. Specifically, the area cordoned off is on the East Laredo Street block. I don't want to give out the exact house number or approximate area that it is, but it is on the street, on Laredo Street in this neighborhood here. Again, we have an email out to the public information officer. Whether they respond in email or here in person, we are doing our best to find out what took place that led up to this shooting here on the scene. Again, from what we can see from our perspective, we have two areas with police tape cordoned off of Laredo Street and this main street here that we're off of, which is North Kingston Street. That's where you see the police tape blocking off that area. Mesa and Chandler command units are on the scene. No other Mesa police officers that we can see except for the command van is on the scene. A number of detectives, and again, confirming from one of the neighbors that he heard several gunshots while he was working outside, along with a large amount of police officers and sirens and so on. And currently at the scene we're at, you can see that there's two command vans and a number of unmarked detectives, as well as Chandler Police Department here. Let's see if we can get any details. Hopefully we got some kind of email response. We definitely don't like to assume anything. We can only go by past live events on scenes and situations as large as this of a police presence and multiple, two police agencies in the same area, command van. Some type of police involved shooting. We can confirm several things right now as we work to find out more. Heavy police presence, several gunshots, not sure by who, followed by a woman screaming, one SUV with heavy front windshield damage to it, and one person deceased here on the scene. Again, we're off of Galveston Street and McQueen Road in Chandler, Arizona. The police scene itself is off of Laredo Street. That's all we can confirm at this time. We appreciate everybody joining us on Facebook, YouTube, X, as well as a large amount of you, about 200 or so, on Citizen. We appreciate it. I know Citizen has been a little difficult to navigate and find these live feeds, but those of you that are able to find it, we truly appreciate it. Again, some type of shooting taking place here off of Laredo Street, main crossroads being Galveston Street and McQueen Road in Chandler, Arizona. Chandler and Mesa Police Command units on scene, as well as a large police presence of the Chandler police officers, unmarked detectives, and one SUV, heavy front windshield damage, and one person deceased on the scene. And that's all we know and can confirm at this time. And just so everybody knows, we're also, while we're waiting, critical incident. Okay. So we have some other, we're looking at some other media channels to see if they have any updated, because their assignment desk would have already reached out and might have heard something back. So I'm going to just see what we've got going on here. So all we're hearing is it happened just before 11 a.m. It's a critical incident. Stand by, everyone. Chandler Police said there is no danger. All right, so I'm just going to read what ABC 15, in fact, was able to get a response from the Chandler Police Department. Chandler Police are saying that there is no danger to the public. All officers are unharmed, which again would lead us to believe that this was some type of officer-involved shooting, leaving one person deceased. There is traffic restrictions off of Kingston Street, so if you live in that neighborhood, I don't know if there's any other way to get out. But we can tell you, if you live in the area where North Kingston Street, again, we're off of Galveston and McQueen, that's where we're broadcasting live from. Let's see, 9 miles. So all the things that we were gathering and understanding, again, they are saying from what they were able to gather, that's ABC 15, that's the credit for that there is no officers hurt in this incident, again, which would lead me to believe it was some type of officer-involved shooting. For the fact also that we have Mesa Command Police Unit and the Chandler Command units here on the scene, as well as a number of detectives off of East Laredo Street, and still a pretty heavy police presence in the area. Again, confirming that one of the neighbors working outside heard a number of gunshots when he went to peek around the corner, saw a bunch of police officers and heard a woman scream and running from the scene, and that was the woman that came just moments ago out of the Chandler Fire Department's van there, and it's the crisis unit 288. So, what all led up to this shooting, we're not sure yet. We're not sure any of the details except to the fact that there is one deceased, heavy front windshield damage. And I know I repeat it, but there's a lot of people that come into all of our social media at different times, so I want to bring everybody up to speed as much as I can. Again, Valley-wide news, breaking news and events here and across the Valley, independent media. If you could like, share, and subscribe on any of the social media you follow, including on Citizen, we truly appreciate it. Again, we're off of the main roads, Galveston Street and McQueen Road here in Chandler, Arizona. Some type of shooting, one deceased, and again, we're working to find out details as to what led up to this. All right. All right, so far we haven't heard anything back from the Chandler Police Department. We're going to go ahead and reach out to a detective at PIO rather at the Mesa Police Department, see if they can give us any kind of update since they are investigating here on the scene. Again, some type of shooting taking place, confirmed by neighbors hearing gunshots and a woman screaming. So many things that we can try and assume from this, and that's the last thing we want to do. But what we can say with confidence is that a number of detectives are here on the scene, a number of police officers still on the scene. We're in Chandler. We have the Chandler Command Unit van as well as the Mesa Command Unit van. Several shots heard by neighbors, followed by a woman screaming, and that was also running, and one person deceased, and one SUV off of Laredo Street with heavy front windshield damage. That's all that we know at this moment. Again, Valleywide News, independent media, here on the scene, bringing you live broadcast on our Facebook, YouTube, X, as well as Citizen. And let's see if we can reach out to another agency and possibly get some information as to what led up to this. Stand by, everybody. We're sending an email to Mesa Public Information at this time. All right, we're seeing some other media channels pulling up on the scene. Thank you to each and every one of you joining us. Again, we're live on Facebook, YouTube, X, as well as Citizen. Shooting taking place here off of Laredo Street. in Chandler, Arizona. We're currently, the main streets actually are McQueen Road and Galveston Street. In this neighborhood here, large police presence, neighbors confirming to us that they did hear gunshots, followed by a woman screaming and running from the scene. They had her in the crisis van that you see in front of you. She is actually walking away from the scene right now, and one person deceased and one SUV with heavy front windshield damage at this time. How you doing? Good. It's a little cooler under here. All right, everyone. So once again, Valleywide News, breaking news here in Arizona. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and X, as well as Citizen currently. We appreciate each and every one of you joining us. Here's what we know so far, and it bears repeating, and those of you just joining us, we'll let you know what we can confirm at this time. Details are still limited and still coming out, but what we can confirm is that One person is deceased here on the scene, heavy damage to a front windshield of an SUV. Neighbors did report to us, who wish to remain anonymous, but did report to us that they were working outside, working on something, and heard obviously a number of police officers, followed by several gunshots, a woman screaming and running from the scene. That woman was seen when we pulled up in this crisis fire department van, speaking with members from the crisis unit for the Chandler Fire Department. We have Chandler Police and a number of detectives. We've just saw 3 more pull up. We have Mesa command units on the scene, as well as Chandler command unit. We have the police scene itself is off of Laredo Street in this neighborhood. And again, we're working to get the actual details of what happened or what led up to some type of shooting here, and get you better details. But we can confirm that there were several shots heard by neighbors, and one person again deceased here on the scene. And we could see more police pulling up. And we can 100% move in a little closer. We're choosing not to for several reasons. One of those being that we're under the shade. Kindly, a neighbor allowed us to stand under their tree to broadcast from, because so that our phone itself, we're broadcasting from Citizen, doesn't overheat, which so far it's been good. Again, an investigation taking place right now. Main streets here in Chandler are Galveston Street and McQueen Road. The scene itself specifically taking place on Laredo Street. Again, North Kingston Street is closed off, pulling into that area. So if you do live in the neighborhood and have somewhere to go, you might want to see if hopefully there's another exit that you can get out of. As far as going in, we did see one person park across the street, show proof of their address, and were able to walk to their home. So if you are home and you don't need to go anywhere and you're in that neighborhood, it's probably best to stay. There's going to be several hours, I could tell you, in situations like this, an investigation taking place. So most likely will be closed off for quite a while. And again, we did check some other local media, and some of the updates that they were able to get are saying something to the fact that no officers were hurt, leading me to believe that this was some type of officer-involved shooting, as well as the Mesa command unit here on scene. Usually another agency will take over a police-involved shooting. We are in the city of Chandler and have Mesa command units and a number of Mesa detectives here on the scene as well. Likely taking over the investigation. Confirmed, one deceased, one SUV, heavy front windshield damage, one woman, after several gunshots were heard, running from the scene. Again, there's a lot of assumptions we can make from that, but that's the last thing we're going to do. We are independent media, Valleywide News. breaking news and events here and across the valley. And again, we appreciate you joining us. Okay, here we go. We do have an update from the PIO. Stand by, everybody. Let me just make sure this is something we could read out live on the air. Yes, so we did get a email back from Chandler Police Department at this time. We are going to read it to you as it reads exactly here. The Chandler Police Department is investigating a critical incident in the area of Chandler Boulevard and McQueen. There is no danger to the public, and all officers were unharmed. Of course, there's going to be traffic restrictions is what they're saying, and we already mentioned that on Kingston Street. So we did get a text from somebody else saying that there is another way in and out of the neighborhood. So those of you, again, living in the area of North Kingston,
Yeah, I was going to give a statement.
where are they going to do that from somewhere over there?
Wherever we set up.
All right, perfect. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, everyone. So we are going to get, that was another media station letting us know that the public information officer is in fact going to give us an update. We are going to head and we're going to stay live with you here. The good news is somebody's trying to get in. They see a heavy police presence. They won't be able to get in there. But anyway, so we are going to move our cameras up close to where the public information officer for Chandler Police Department is going to give us an update as to what happened here and what is going on. So we're going to stick with you live. We appreciate each and everybody joining us on Citizen, Facebook, YouTube, and X. Stand by. We're going to move in, and hopefully we'll get an update from the PIO shortly after this. All right, everyone. So it is a little windy here. We're going to try and it appears we're going to get some type of update from the PIO for the Chandler Police Department. How you doing? Oh, okay.
Get you in the shade, my friend. Get you in the shade.
Sounds good.
That's all.
Yeah.
Chandler will go where?
On that corner there?
Yeah, right where that big tree is.
They'll,
Yeah. Just give us a little bit. We're still working on that. But get yourself in the shade, out of the sun.
Thank you. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. And we'll be over there when we can.
All right.
Do you want to go the other place?
Who you guys with?
Valley White.
Yeah, we saw. So we saw. You send us a report.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
With Mesa.
Yeah, I got it. I appreciate it.
I'm Detective Cervantes with Mesa.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Telemundo de Zona.
Hi, Cervantes. Nice to meet you.
Jose.
How's it going? Se me hace que la Chandler
It is hot.
Okay.
So tal vez,
You're prepared though.
I am. That's the big
Tal
thing.
vez ya
Yes,
cuando
yes.
haga su statement en inglés, no sé si va a querer hablar en español. Sí, sí puede, sí.
All right. We'll see you guys in a little bit.
All right. All right, everyone, we are once again going to move. They're saying we have it in a staging area across the street, actually. So I apologize. We're going to move to another area. They're working, as you can see, I mean, from what we can see, way off in the distance. So where this approximately took place, let's see if we can, for the moment, get any better of a shot before we move across the street. All right, everyone. So we're going to take a walk again, move our equipment to the staging area where the public information officer hopefully will bring us up to speed on what happened here beyond what we already read you. So bear with us. Good. Whew. All right, everyone, so this, and we're not going to zoom in on her face or anything, but the woman that's passing right there with the spotted clothing on, she, I believe, is the woman that was heard screaming and running from the scene. What her involvement was, we don't know. We do have forensic services crime unit coming from the Mesa Police Department at this time. Again, public information officer for Chandler and actually Mesa as well, going to give us an update hopefully soon. Again, these type of things, times can change. They're still doing their major investigation work. We did read you just a little bit ago from Chandler Police Department, a brief statement update. And again, from our experience and what we've seen here on the scenes like this, we can tell you that more than likely this is an officer-involved shooting, with the Chandler Police Department having the Mesa Police Department investigating it. And again, hopefully we'll get some type of update soon here.
pictured.
All right, everyone. So once again, we are live here on the scene. Hopefully, we'll be getting some type of update from the PIO on the scene currently. Again, we had a brief statement from the Chandler Public Information Officer mentioning that there is a critical incident. We do know one person is deceased here on the scene, one SUV with heavy front windshield damage. A large police presence was at the time of what we did here was a shooting. One of the neighbors again confirming there was a number of gunshots, followed by a woman screaming and running from the scene. Hopefully we'll get some more detailed updates once the PIO arrives to speak to us. We are currently at a staging area for that update. And we've seen, unfortunately with situations like this, while they're investigating, again, Mesa crime scene is on the scene, as well as Chandler Police Department and command units. So hopefully they'll be able to brief us soon here as to what's happening or what led up to this. Again, we're hoping to hear from the PIO soon as to what happened here or what led up to it. We can tell you that the update we had also was that no officers were hurt in this critical incident, which leads us to believe that there was some type of officer-involved shooting. Hopefully we'll get more details. One deceased on the scene, so that's where we are. We can tell you we're in Chandler, off of Galveston Street and McQueen Road in Chandler, specifically the incident happening off of Laredo Street. One SUV, again with heavy windshield damage, and one deceased on the scene. How you doing? All right, everybody, and once again, we're still live here on the scene, hopefully awaiting a public information officer update shortly as to what happened. Again, you can see two people coming out of that crisis van. We said earlier that it was possibly the young lady in the long pants that was involved. We don't want to say for sure. We cannot confirm that. But again, one of those two women were seen running from the scene shortly after hearing several gunshots. That, according to a witness who was working outside here on the scene. Hopefully we're getting our update from the public information officer shortly here as to what led up to this. What we can say briefly on what was given to us initially is that, or from the Chandler Police Department so far, is that no officers were injured in this incident. We have both the Chandler, still a heavy police presence, Chandler Police Department, as well as the Mesa Command Unit and several Mesa detectives on the scene here. We do have a confirmation that there is one deceased, one SUV with a smashed windshield on the front. We're not sure who or what impacted that windshield, whether it was the person that is deceased or not. Again, the public information officer will hopefully have a little more details once they're able to give us an update, and hopefully that'll take place soon. That's what we know so far. Again, we're live on Citizen, Facebook, YouTube, and X, and we are Valleywide News, independent media across Arizona. We truly appreciate you joining us. And once again, just to give the cross streets, we're on Galveston Street and McQueen Road here in Chandler, Arizona. Specifically, the incident taking place off of East Laredo Street. And that is where the crime scene currently is at this time. Once again, as soon as we know information or the public information officer gives us an update, we'll bring it to you right away live. Hang on, let me make sure my...
Yes, it works great, but it doesn't always turn on. I have to reset the battery, plug this thing out, so it's got a little bit of first. It's not like this, it's because it's easier to go by. Right. said, I don't know if it's because I've kept this in the box. That's not bad. I just haven't felt comfortable using it because it's safe. So that might be
Is that just a, like you can't,
this here. Well, the action I have plugged into a wireless transmitter and I just turned it up. Pro. And then I broadcast wireless into it. It's not crusty because I have to reset it just to the side. Which I've seen. I'm sure you got it too. Yes, sir. It's a small version.
Alright. Well, I don't want a bunch of shadow going on. They can handle it. You're out here all day, so they can handle it.
Overheated. We're still live on Facebook, YouTube, so that join us there.
All right, everyone. So once again, we're live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. We were live on Citizen. Our phone overheated, so we aren't able to broadcast any longer there. We're still live here on the scene, awaiting a briefing from the Public Information Officer for the Chandler Police Department, or Mesa, or both. We can tell you that, from what we understand, no officers were hurt in this shooting, which leads us to believe that it was a officer-involved shooting involving the Chandler Police Department. We can tell you that the Mesa Police Department and Crime Scene Unit are investigating here on the scene. And we have one person who is deceased and an SUV with heavy windshield damage off of Laredo Street. Again, the main cross streets are McQueen Road and Galveston Street. Specifically, the crime scene is on Laredo Street, just behind this neighborhood here. Hopefully the PIO will be out shortly to give us an update. We'll stick around as much as we can until that update takes place. Again, we're Valleywide News, breaking news and events here and across the valley, independent media. Best way to support us is to subscribe on YouTube, like and follow us on Facebook and X, as well as subscribe on X. And that truly helps us out. It helps the community in the area updated as much as possible on incidents like this that are happening in your neighborhood. All right, everybody. Those of you just joining us, those of you stuck around, we appreciate it. We are Valleywide News, breaking news and events across the valley. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. We were live on Citizen as well for as long as we could. Our phone overheated. So we are just on our other social media at this time. We're awaiting a PIO update from the Chandler Police Department. So far, what we can confirm is that one person deceased here on the scene, Chandler and Mesa command units on scene as well, a number of detectives from both departments, and a brief initial update from what we got back from the Chandler Police Department PIO earlier is that no officers were hurt in this incident, which leads us to believe that it was some type of officer-involved shooting. One neighbor at least that we spoke to said he was working outside, saw a bunch of police officers across the street, heard several gunshots. One woman was seen running from the scene. And then shortly after, this is the scene where we're at. And it has been this way for quite some time. Now, we can tell you that for a number of hours, it will be cordoned off. We did see a generator come in from the Mesa Police Department, which also leads us to believe that they're going to be here on the scene doing an investigation for an extended period of time, a number of hours, possibly leading into the evening. This incident took place off of Laredo Street. Again, off of Laredo Street. Our main crossings that we're at is Galveston Street and McQueen Road. And once again, sadly, one person deceased. A large windshield that is smashed from the outside in on an SUV at the location where this shooting took place. Again, we are waiting, hopefully soon, from the Public Information Officer on an update as to what led up to this. And hopefully sooner than later, we'll get that update for you. Please like, share, and subscribe. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and X at Valleywide News. You can also follow us on Citizen app at Valleywide News as well.
on the other street.
Oh, very
See the moms going down.
But they're like, you guys go over here for it. It's like this. And they were like, over there because and their state. Not ready to go. Hey, that's exactly right. So then and then one, one question again. They're like, well, not exactly. Unless, not unless you put up. That I saw from the other they had it with their
Probably not. Test. Yep. Two Valley police shootings just hours apart. I'm Adam Klepp. Coming up, hear from investigators about why Phoenix and Chandler police opened fire. Ready? Here at ABC 15, 3, 2, 1. Here at ABC 15, we track the number and locations of all the officer-involved shootings in the Valley. These were the 26th and 27th ones so far in 2026. Adam Klepp, ABC 15, Arizona.
All right, everyone. So once again, we're still live here on the scene. Hopefully, PIO will be in bringing us a briefing and an update soon. We can tell you that those of you just joining us, we're on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Valley-wide news, independent media across Arizona. Currently live on the scene of possibly an officer-involved shooting. We have both Chandler and Mesa Police Department here on the scene. A number of detectives as well, awaiting a public information officer to give us an update. We can tell you that they did tell us in an email that there were no officers hurt in this incident. One person deceased, one SUV with the windshield smashed in. And again, we're waiting for the public information officer to bring us an update as to what led up to this today.
shooting.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a shooting.
It looks like there might have been an officer involved just because there's a second police department here. That's usually what they do when it's an officer involved shooting. Could have been. We're waiting on the PIO, the public information not come out. Yeah. One person that knows. One person that we know.
All right, everyone. Once again, we are Valleywide News, breaking news and events here and across the valley. And somewhere at around 11 a.m. this morning, we had an incident that led up to one person being deceased here on the scene. SUV with heavy damage to the front windshield. We have both Chandler and Mesa Police Command units on scene, investigators and crime scene, forensics crime scene, and lots of detectives as well on the scene. We have a public information officer from both Chandler and Mesa Police Department that hopefully one of those will be updating us shortly as to what led up to this. Neighbors did say that were outside, heard several gunshots, preceded by a woman running and screaming. And again, one person deceased here on the scene off of Laredo Street, according to witnesses that live in the area and live in and around the block that we're speaking about. There is one body that is on the ground currently at this time as we speak as well. Again, hopefully the PIO will come to the microphone shortly and give us an update. We're doing our best to stay here as long as possible, stay with you live until that happens. Cross streets are Galveston Street and McQueen Road in Chandler, Arizona. The street that the crime scene itself is on is East Laredo Street. And again, we're just awaiting the PIO to give us a more inclusive update, more than what we already have. Again, we can tell you that they did send out a briefing per our request, that no officers were hurt in this incident, and there is no danger to the community. However, one person is deceased. So again, we will give you those updates, hopefully live here soon. Unfortunately, we've seen incidents like this where they say they're going to be on the scene shortly, and we know that they're doing their investigation, so sometimes these things take longer than expected. And so again, our hopes are that the PIO will come out here shortly to update us.
You guys can use that if you want. All right. Granddaughter has it. At 4.
All right, everyone, to those of you just joining us, we are Valleywide News, breaking news here on Facebook, YouTube, and X. We are independent media, currently on a shooting incident here in Chandler. Happened just before 11 a.m. this morning here on Saturday. We've got both the Chandler and Mesa command units on the scene. Witnesses living in the area mentioned to us that they heard several gunshots, followed by a woman running and screaming. This scene taking place again off of Laredo Street in Chandler. Current main crossing streets are that we're broadcasting live at. We have another unmarked unit coming in to the scene right now, but we're off of Galveston Street and McQueen Road. Again, the incident crime scene currently at Laredo Street. One SUV smashed in front windshield and one deceased on the ground as we speak on the scene. We have forensics crime scene units on scene as well. And hopefully, again, we heard this about 45 minutes or so ago from the PIO that they will give us a brief update. We did get an email initially from them on the scene here, and I'm not exact quoting, but basically that no officers were hurt in this incident, which leads us to believe this was some type of officer-involved shooting. There is no danger to the community at this time, which is good news, which means that the scene is contained and the one suspect or person that is deceased appears to be neutralized. And so that's what we know so far. Again, hopefully we'll hear from the PIO and get better details as to what led up to this shooting, who was involved, and what took place. And as you might have heard if you were on the scene, watching us earlier, as we were pulling up, we did hear also of another shooting that took place in Phoenix. So two major incidents within about an hour or two of each other here on this Saturday morning. And again, hopefully sooner than later we'll hear from the PIO as to a better update to what happened here.
like, we're gonna set up in the same like, you should put us under that tree.
Yeah. It's like,
You guys been out here? You guys want to use this mic stand? Yeah, let's use that.
thank you. All your reporters have come in and fired?
Hi, everyone. Officer Green is going to be doing the briefing. All right, everybody good?
Yes.
Can you do an audio check for us, please? Just like count to 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, ready? Yes. All right.
Ready? Yep. That meant, okay. Just before 10:15 this morning, Chandler officers were called to a report of a domestic dispute in the 900 block of East Laredo Street. The first officer on scene saw a man with a shotgun in the front yard of the reported address. He also saw a female sitting in a nearby vehicle. Multiple commands were given to drop the shotgun. This is when the officer involved shooting occurred. One officer fired multiple rounds, striking the suspect. When it was safe to do so, officers began life-saving measures until the Chandler Fire Department arrived. The Chandler Fire Department arrived on scene and pronounced the subject dead at the scene. Nobody else was injured, no officers or anybody else was injured. The Mesa will be investigating this incident as part of the EV CERT protocol.
You can say your whole name and spell it for us.
Marisol, Marsol, Green, Green.
Has this house been has there been more domestic disputes at this location?
I don't have that information, but it's part of the investigation being conducted.
So, what was the person doing when police arrived? What was the person doing when they arrived?
That's also part of the investigation. The EV CERT is talking to officers, talking to any witnesses as to what happened.
So when the officer arrived, that person was already outside of their house.
When the officer arrived, he saw the male standing in the front yard of the reported address with a shotgun.
About what time? Do you have time to explain that first call came in and when officers were
The call came into dispatch at, I believe, at 10:12. I don't have the exact times of when the officer arrived.
What's the protocol now, just for the officers who fired their weapons? What happens now for that?
So the Mesa EV CERT takes over the investigation. So they take over the investigation. All questions regarding the investigation can be directed to them.
Do those officers go on leave? Is that what's...
Oh, that part of it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going to happen. That's somebody else makes those decisions. I don't know the exact process of what happens now with the officer.
With the initial call, was there someone in that vehicle that has holes throughout it? Was he beating on a windshield or something? What was going on?
That's part of the investigation as well. It's very early on in the investigation, so that's what they're looking at. That's what they're talking to the witnesses. They're talking to officers or anybody who has any information. That's who they're talking to.
But was there somebody in the vehicle and he was outside of the vehicle?
When the first officer arrived, yes, there was. He saw a female sitting inside the vehicle.
And the subject with the gun was outside.
Correct. The subject with the shotgun was standing in the front yard of the residence.
And then was the call relatively made from the person investigating?
I don't know that. I don't know. We received calls from the person involved, and we received calls from neighbors.
Are you able to tell us if the female that was involved in this domestic, she was not hurt in this incident?
Correct. I can tell
As well
you
as
that there
no
are no
officers.
physical injuries to the officers or anybody else.
That's good news. Okay, thank you.
When the shots fired, was there any property damage to the local, any of the other homes?
I don't know that answer. I don't know if there was any property damage.
And did he ever fire a shot?
I don't know either. I don't have that information. That's part of the ongoing investigation.
But were there any shots fired before police arrived?
I don't have that. I don't have that information.
So the updates will be coming from the Mesa Police Department, correct?
That's all the information.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
I'm sorry. The Mesa Police Department will probably send out some type of
We'll be
update if
sending
they
out
have.
a media advisory sometime today.
Perfect.
And then the Mesa EV CERT takes over the investigation.
Thank you.
And then all questions after that?
Go through them. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to say.
All right, and there you have it, everyone. That is the update from the Mesa Police Department. We just wanted to, thankfully we got that, and we're going to be ending our broadcast here. We can say that if you live in that neighborhood and you're anywhere on the street, Laredo Street or in that neighborhood, police will be here for the foreseeable future this evening investigating this. We did see them bring in a generator, which tells us more than likely they're going to be here for quite some time. With this, sorry about that, with this investigation. So to wrap things up here, again, some of the things we were thinking in this incident are in fact true. This was a domestic situation at a home off of Laredo Street, here off of Kingston Street. A suspect was armed with a 12-gauge shotgun, threatening the female, as we understand it, in some type of domestic violence fight. Police officers were here on the scene. Chandler Police Department police officers were on the scene, made several attempts to have this suspect put his weapon down, that being again a 12-gauge shotgun. He refused and at some point made some type of gesture in and towards the police officers, in which then Chandler police officers were forced to, at least one officer that is, was forced to fire his weapon, his or her weapon, and neutralize the suspect here on the scene out in front of the home. Thankfully, again, no officers were hurt in this incident, and the female suspect, which we did see earlier, thankfully is okay and was not hurt, and that would go along with what the neighbor again said, that he heard a woman running from the scene, screaming, and so that's exactly what we have here. And unfortunately, one deceased on the scene. Thankfully, no one else hurt. Again, a domestic violence situation, ending with one person deceased here on the scene, that being the suspect, and the female involved in the domestic has left the scene with a friend or a family member and is okay. And again, no officers hurt in this incident. We are going to wrap things up here on the scene. We truly appreciate it. We are Valley-wide News, breaking news and events here and across the valley, live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Thank you, everyone. Be safe out there.